Hello and welcome to the Next in Line podcast, where we are helping to prepare you for whatever is next in line. As always, I am your host, Chance Pitts, and I would like to thank you for tuning into this episode. Guys and gals, welcome into another episode of the Next in Line podcast. I would like to start and go ahead and knock out the housekeeping today. If you receive value from this episode or any other episode of the Next in Line podcast, I would ask that you share the show with like-minded individuals who could receive that same kind of value. That's the number one way for us to grow this podcast and, in effect, grow this movement and help as many people as possible achieve their goals. Now, along with that, guys, you can give us a follow on social media. You can see all the amazing people that we get involved with here at Next in Line, along with the things that we have going on, including a bunch of races and different events that we dive into. Now, guys, let's move to the next section of the announcements, which involves those very races we've been talking about. We have the KD 225 coming up on October 23rd in Clinton, Missouri. That will be my first attempt at a race over the 200-mile mark. I've only done up to a 100-mile race at this point, so super excited to go out there with a great group of individuals, both crewing and pacing, and also sharing the trail out there, racing against some great individuals who I've had the pleasure to meet in this running journey that we've been on in the past couple of years, guys. So super stoked about that. Couldn't be more excited. It can't get here quick enough in the heat of a crazy training schedule and just ready to get back out there on the trails. Now, along with that, guys, we do have another race on the books for this year. That is the Brazos Bend 100 on December 2nd out in Needville, Texas. We're going to be out there supporting and crewing and possibly pacing whatever we need to do to help him reach success. That is Michael Ruiz, who is taking on his first ultra marathon of the 100-mile distance. He is deep into his training plan as well. He's going to be one of my pacers out in Missouri for the KD 225. And I'm super stoked to be out there and be able to give back and support him after he's done so much to support me through my ultra marathon journey and help him get across that line in his first 100-mile race. I know he's going to do a great job. I know we're going to have a great team out there. Guys, if you want to get involved in either of these races, whether it's running, crewing, possibly pacing, feel free to reach out. Best way to do that is at Next in Line Development on Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok. Shoot us a DM there and we'll be happy to throw you in the mix. Now, along with that, guys, I would be totally outside of my element and in the wrong if I didn't say congratulations to a couple of amazing people who have been involved in what we're doing here and some of their just phenomenal achievements here lately. Huge congratulations to the Axis Recovery team for taking second in the 2023 Back to School Bash hosted by General PT over in Huntsville, Texas. They took on a CrossFit contest this weekend and knocked it out the park. Super excited to see what those guys do. And if you're curious what Axis Recovery is, there's an awesome recovery station coming to Conroe, Texas. They're going to have cold plunges. They're going to have saunas. They're going to have compression boots. They're going to have all kinds of different ways for you to continue to operate at your peak and to help your recovery process in whatever endeavor you're deciding to go into on the physical side. And guys, hopefully we'll get them on the podcast soon to get a little bit more accurate info and really dive into what that business looks like and when it'll be available to all of y'all over in the Houston area. And then along with that, guys, just minutes before sitting down to record this podcast, Ashley Forshee, who you might recognize from the list of individuals who knocked out Habanero 100 with us, but also the race director from Ricochet's Riot, the ultra marathon that we took on earlier this summer, just completed the Mongolian, I'm going to butcher that name, Mongolian Monster 100 from Viper Racing out there in, I believe, Arizona. She killed that race, had a phenomenal finish. I believe she was fourth overall female, just a stud. I've talked to her a couple of times, hoping to get her on the podcast here soon for y'all before she gets too famous for all of us with her running career out there. So huge congratulations to the Axis Recovery team and Ashley out there just knocking it out of the park. Now, guys and gals, we have all of the announcements out of the way, and I want to dive into the topic for today. And what this really sparked from me, guys, is that I'm realizing more and more that we live in a world of individuals who care more about safety and security than they do about success. These are individuals that are often hiding from the issues that they have because society has allowed them the freedom of not facing those issues. These are also individuals who are uncomfortable being reminded by their shortcomings because of the success of others. They see other people achieving good things and going after goals and pursuing greatness and success, and it's an intimidating thing for them. And along with that, guys, I believe some of these individuals also are so influenced by the social pressure to just be a crab in the bucket and pull everyone else down and to succumb to mediocrity that it's really infecting so many different individuals, and it can have a negative effect on those of us that have decided to really push ourselves and go after something great in this life. And small examples of those people and the individuals that are somewhat discouraging those of us trying to do better and trying to take on bigger things, or just as simple as some of the looks that I get whenever I'm running around town here, the dirty looks, or the kind of stares you get whenever people don't fully understand why you're out running in the 100-degree heat in South Texas, putting down a lot of miles every single day. And along with that, it's the social situations, right? Like one that here popped up very recently for me. I recently told several individuals that I had just gotten my time off approved for October to be off for a week. And these individuals asked me, "Oh man, what are you going to do? I'm sure you're going to get some time to relax and some vacation." And I said, "Well, a little bit, kind of, in my own way. I'm going to run a 225-mile ultramarathon in Missouri." And these individuals did not know how to take that. They didn't understand why somebody would do that. And they even took the time to make the comparison of, well, that would be like me asking just to take a week off so I could just walk around. Why are you taking a week off to go run? And in the middle of hearing this and in the middle of this conversation, and don't get me wrong, guys, it was some lighthearted conversation. It wasn't anything they meant to be personal, but I couldn't help but think back to the situation that I found myself in, and many of you have probably found yourself in as well, with all of the individuals around me outside of this sphere of next in line really not understanding what we're trying to do here and why we're doing the things that we're doing. They see my goals, they see my aspirations, they see my pursuit of success as something that is outside of the norm. They see it as something that doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. They see it as wasted effort, wasted time, wasted investment, all because it doesn't align fully with what they think an individual should be doing. The proper way to escape from the reality that is this messed up dream that we all live in of going to work and going into debt and just paying bills and pursuing this career until we're old enough to retire, at which point we don't have our health anymore and we can't do the things that we have wanted to do for so long. What I'm trying to do, and what many of us are trying to do here, is reverse that process. Get out ahead of it. Start achieving things while we're still able to do so. And for whatever reason, that does not exactly sit well with a lot of individuals. And I'm hearing similar stories kind of across the spectrum here. I've got friends that are starting businesses and deciding to go out on their own and really make something of themselves. And on the backside of that, you can't help but have individuals kind of question everything that they choose to do. You've got all these individuals that all of a sudden become business experts, if you will, right? They decide to become the people that can tell you what's going to work, what's not going to work, the best way to run your business, the best way to attack something, why you shouldn't pursue things the way you're trying to pursue them. And it's more than that, guys. It's not just my friends in business. It's a lot of the individuals I've surrounded myself with here recently that are just doing something as simple as choosing to go to a new job because it provides more opportunity and it pushes them down the path that they're wanting to go down in this life. Maybe even it's the ones that's deciding to move to new cities and just change their environment so that they can change the individuals that they are and start progressing towards the goals that they have. Those people are getting shot down by these same naysayers and by these individuals who think they have all the answers and want to question the reason why people choose to do the things that they're doing. And I really can't wrap my mind around all of these individuals. But when I look back, I know that it's been prevalent for a very long time within my journey. You see, whenever I started out as a 235-pound overweight, borderline alcoholic, sedentary guy, there wasn't anybody that was questioning what I was doing. Sure, my wife would make a comment here or there about my dietary choices or my amount of drinking or little things here or there, right? The typical things that you hear from a quote-unquote nagging wife. Even though hindsight, she was telling me things that I needed to hear. I just didn't realize it yet. But whenever I was in that situation, I never heard anyone criticize the path that I was on. They didn't talk about the changes that I needed to make or the direction that I needed to go to get my life back on track and back to being who I really thought that I was trying to be every single day. Whenever I was falling short of that over and over, decision by decision. And then I started dieting. I started changing things up. I started eating healthier. I started saying no to going out to fast food for lunch. I started saying no to kolaches and donuts and breakfast tacos in the morning in the break room. And people started to ask questions. They started to poke fun. They started to make me the subject of the jokes and the talk around the office for having the guts to decide to make a change. And then they did the same thing whenever they found out that I had decided to take on 75 hard. And I was running 5 miles every single day. And I was also going to the gym and lifting every single day. People thought I would burn out. People thought it wasn't going to last. People said, this guy's not going to be able to achieve that. Look at him. Look at what he's been for so long. I've known him this way for dang near his entire life. It's just not going to be who he is. And then whenever I decided to stop drinking, whenever I decided to stop drinking, many individuals who knew me from my days in high school and college and knew me as the party animal that actually was kind of the instigator that got everybody else to shuck their responsibilities and to go into that party mode, if you will. Many of those people said there was no way I was going to put down alcohol, that I was going to walk away, that I was going to make that choice for the reasons that I was making that choice, not because I had a problem and decided to get a hold of my addiction. No, it was simply because it clouded my judgment. It gave me an excuse to not be the person that I needed to strive to be. It allowed me to have an excuse to not get up and go to the gym, to go on the runs. It gave me an excuse to grab hold of a crappy diet because I needed some kind of terrible food and greasy food so I didn't feel so bad at the end of a hangover. And everybody was okay with me being the guy that fell short in quitting drinking. They even encouraged it. They even asked over and over after I told them I wasn't drinking anymore, "You sure you don't want a beer? You sure you don't want a beer? I'll just take a shot with us." But that's not who I wanted to be. And I walked away from drinking. And then same story whenever I began ultra running. It was something that people thought I was crazy for. But they were starting to believe. They were starting to see after I had lost 65 pounds, after I had completed 75 hard and dove into phase 1, after I had chose to and successfully stopped drinking. People started to understand. They started to see the method to the madness. But by that point, it didn't matter. None of those individuals were important. They weren't a key role in the story that I was writing for myself. And by the time I was ready to switch jobs, by the time I was ready to make a change, to take on some big challenges and for our family to move across the state of Texas to go pursue goals that more aligned with the lives that we wanted to live, people understood and people started to see. But like I said, guys, it didn't matter at that point. But what I want you to know is sprinkled throughout all of those things, throughout the entire journey, there was so many individuals who did not understand what I was doing, who did not understand why I would put myself through the things that I put myself through, that didn't understand why I was even trying to make the changes whenever everyone around me was just being the same exact individual that they had always been. And that's where that story came from work as well. People don't understand. You take a week off to go run instead of going on a vacation. Maybe it's selfish. Maybe it's dumb. But the people around me, my wife included, understand what it means to me. They understand the goals that I've set for myself. They understand what I'm trying to achieve here and the gravity and the weight behind my decision to go and do this. And that's why it doesn't matter. That's why those individuals don't make a difference in my story. And I'm telling y'all this because each and every one of us goes through this. Each and every one of us has those crabs in the bucket. They have those individuals that don't understand why we do the things we're doing, don't quite get the person that we've become, or maybe feel like we've turned our back on them because we've chosen to go down a path of success and left them behind because they weren't ready to give up that life and to make those changes and to go down the same path. The truth is we're going to outgrow people. The truth is we're going to have to move away from individuals that don't serve a purpose in our life anymore. But it's not just us, guys. It's not just the everyday person that deals with this. No, it's a lot of big and inspiring individuals that have gone through these same exact stories. You see a lot of different things out there and you think, man, there's a lot of success. I can't believe they've made it. I can't believe it was that easy for them. The truth of the matter is they dealt with a lot of the same things we do, with a lot of the same people saying a lot of the same things. Take, for example, a massive supplement brand, one of the biggest in the industry now. When it was time for the owner to go all in on that company, what he did was he put down his last dollar, him and his partner, to lease out a building space. They didn't hardly have money to put product on the shelves anymore, so they had to go max out a bunch of credit cards. They had to sleep in the back of the store on a piss-stained mattress from the Salvation Army that was next door. But they fought it out. You don't think everyone around them was telling them to quit? You don't think so many individuals couldn't see the future that they had pictured for themselves? Yet whenever you look at Andy Frisella, because that's who we're talking about, he's helped millions of people turn their life around. He's influenced so many individuals through 75 Hard, through his podcast that reaches tons and tons of people, and through his supplement brand that he has built into being one of the most competitive supplement lines in the world. You look at other individuals. You look at a guy that fell into the candy industry. He decided to take on and try to make his own business once he got a sense of how to make candy and how to produce it his own way. And he failed twice. Got slapped in the face, got told no, had everyone around him telling him just to go back into industry, to go back into the factory, to go work even for his father, who at the time was successful in the confection business. But Milton Hershey decided not to do that. He decided to give it one more go and to really attack things over in Lancaster. Because he believed and he understood what he was working towards. He saw the vision. He knew what he was capable of. And before you knew it, he made a product that was undeniable. He reached his goals. He hit every expectation he had for himself and then some. And now there's not a Christmas, there's not a Halloween, there's not any holiday that goes by that involves candy, Valentine's Day, that you don't think about or see a Hershey's Kiss or a Hershey's chocolate bar. You can't even make it through a trip to the grocery store without seeing one there by the checkout. And guys, there's a million examples, so I won't bore you to death with it, but even consider guys like Chad Wright. For those of y'all that don't know Chad's story, I encourage you to go look it up. But a guy that decided he wanted to be more than he was. He decided he wanted to be a Navy SEAL. He had no idea how to swim when he signed up to try to become a Navy SEAL. He had to teach himself with the help of his, I believe now, wife, how to swim. He had to really dive in and bet on himself. And then whenever he got there through boot camp and was getting ready to go, he found out he had a cyst on his heart that made him ineligible to become a Navy SEAL. But believing what he believed, and with no guarantees, he elected to go privately pay for the surgery because it wasn't covered by his insurance. He was discharged from the Navy, went out, got his surgery, went through the process, recovered, did everything right, and then with, like I said, no guarantees, dove back in and became a Navy SEAL. And now he's leading trainings. He's got a podcast. He's a great racer, and he's inspiring thousands upon thousands of individuals and affecting them in a very positive way. All because he didn't let anybody along that path who told him no, who tried to shut the door in his face. He didn't let any of those individuals stand in his way. He didn't listen to the no's. He saw and he understood what he needed to understood. He had the vision and he knew where he was headed. And that's exactly what he did. Because like I said, I can go on and on about these individuals. But the moral of the story is this. Every single one of them was criticized. Every single one of them was told they should quit. They should back away. They should decide to do something different because what they were doing didn't make sense. What they were doing would never work. And no matter how many times they were told to trade that success for safety and for security, they didn't do it. And in the end, each and every one of these individuals came out on top. Just another example, guys, that I'll throw at you. If you haven't seen the movie Air, it's about Nike going after an opportunity to be an industry leader in the basketball shoe market. today, whenever we think of Nike, it's all you think of. You got the Jordans, you've got Nike running shoes, you've got all the success of a company across so many horizons, especially in the basketball market. But if you watch that movie, it tells a very different story. It shows the side of a company that was left behind, that didn't have any market share, didn't have any opportunity of ever getting any. But one man saw an opportunity. He saw a chance to take a risk. He dove in unapologetically, risked it all, and didn't look back. And as we know, the Air Jordan line is now the most successful basketball shoe line in the world. And Nike is the premier basketball shoe company in the world. Guys, there's a million examples out there. Each and every one of you has your own examples of walking away from the negative influence that kept you from something that you should have done. But right here and right now, I challenge you to make the evaluation. Take the time to look at what your real goals are, to what the big steps are, to what the things that would change your life if you chose to attack them and go after them. They would change who you are, how you operate, and what you're capable of if you chose to go after them. And I want you to evaluate what is stopping you from doing so. What is keeping you from getting to that next level? Because I've done it. I've struggled with this for a very long time. It's the reason I didn't get in shape until about 2 years ago. It's the reason that I never tried for anything big. And I just dove on the easiest gratitude and satisfaction I could find with checking the boxes of climbing a ladder with a career being the most important thing to me for so long. Because it was what was expected. It was what was easy. But my life changed whenever I started taking on big goals and big challenges. So for those of y'all that are tired of letting things slip away, those of y'all that are tired of being pressured by those around you to be less than you're capable of being, I challenge you to do something about that. You need to put your goals, put your passions, put the things that excite you, that get you out of bed in the morning, put them back in your crosshairs. Forget about the opinions of others. Forget about everything that is standing in the way for just a second. And picture what your life would be if you had those things. If you were able to achieve that goal. If you were able to get to that next level. Take a second and sit with that, guys. Then whenever you're ready, I want you to figure out how to get there. I want you to define a path. I want you to figure out steps along that path. I want you to make small goals that lead towards the bigger goal. I want you to make them achievable steps. Make them measurable and attainable so that you can work and that you can honestly reflect on your progress every single day. So you know whether you move that needle in favor of your goal or got a little bit further away with the day that you had. And with this, guys, work on it every single day. I don't care if it's losing a little bit of weight. I don't care if it's that dead-end job that you just fucking hate and can't stand being at anymore. I don't care if it's becoming an ultra runner. There's steps to take. If it's the weight, find a diet you'll stick to. Find an activity that you can do and you can scale up to continue to be successful. And then find a way to hold yourself accountable and get after it. If it's that job, start making connections. Start gaining experience. Fill out those applications. Start knocking on doors. And then get after it. If it's going to be a runner, get out the door. Just get on your feet for 30 minutes. And then find you a plan. Find you a coach. Look up some YouTube videos. Couch to 5K. Whatever it is, guys, get after it. Because this is your wake-up call. And it's my wake-up call. I'm living this same life y'all are. I am riding the same train that each and every one of y'all is riding. And this sucker's barreling down the tracks toward a destination that each and every one of us will eventually get to. But the difference is the shape we're in when we get there and what we're able to achieve along the way. So guys, that's all I got for you today. Don't worry about what other people say. Everyone's going to have some reason why you can't achieve the things you want to achieve. Everyone's going to have a reason why you're not going to be the success that you see yourself being. But at the end of the day, if you have the vision, if you can stay disciplined, if you can work towards that every single day, there's not a single opinion out there that matters. The only thing that matters is what you're capable of and what you're willing to do for yourself. Thanks for tuning into this episode of the Next in Line podcast, guys. I hope y'all got some value out of that. If you did, take a screenshot, share a link, let people know where you're getting your motivational and inspirational and personal development style content from. We greatly appreciate it. Also, be sure to follow us on social media. That's at Next in Line Development on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And guys, always be prepared for whatever is next in line.